A new report warning America is now in danger of losing its title as the world's most powerful economy as soon as next year. Hi, everybody. This is Bulls and Bears. I'm David Asman. Joining me on the panel debate today is Christina Partsinevelos, Liz Peek, Gary Palbaum, and Jonathan Hoenig.
The biggest tax cut beyond the Ronald Reagan tax cuts, ANWR, getting rid of the individual mandate, the biggest cuts in regulations in the history of our country, and we're going further. That might be the biggest reason that our country is doing so much better than other countries and why we're doing so well.
President Trump speaking to farmers today, taking a victory lap for his growth agenda that he says keeps our economy ahead of the rest of the world. But a new report is now raising some big concerns that America could lose its crown as early as next year and never get it back. The British bank Standard Chartered, I should mention, they got a lot of exposure in Asia, so keep that in mind, predicting we will soon fall behind China and then slide to third place behind India within the next decade. So, folks, are you concerned?
No, I'm not concerned, naturally. First of all, this is, I think, sort of a bogus way of looking at power and size. They're using something called purchasing power parity, which takes into account the amount you can buy. In other words, it isn't really GDP. GDP, the United States, is way ahead. It's $19 trillion versus, I think, 14 for China. It's a very substantial gap still. China has been growing faster, so there was an expectation that China would overtake us. And by the way, David, they should overtake us at some point. It's a much bigger country in terms of the number of people. So down the road, presuming that they continue to grow, but they become more productive, they will be bigger. I don't see that as a threat in any way.
What about, I know, Liz, you don't like necessarily the metrics used in that, but what about the fact that India, if you look at the car sector, for example, India literally just beat out Germany when it comes to being the largest consumer of cars and the fact that vehicles are coming into the country there. So that's clearly showing some continued strength in that country over there. They're massive. So you have the fact that China's growing. Even though it's growing at a slower rate, you got China growing higher, you got India and the middle class continuing to grow. I think that could potentially add some weight onto the United States and take it down from its peak that we've seen over the last little while.
Christina, it doesn't take us down or make us any less important in a sense. It just means that those countries become bigger. And yeah, so I mean, those are big markets for us, and that's all good as far as I can see.
First off, I couldn't say purchasing power parity 5 times fast, so it really does not matter to me. Look, we are the biggest economy. China is second. China's economy is heading further south than the New York Knicks season this year. Oh. Our GDP for developed nation is an absolute miracle at this point in time. I don't know where they came up with these numbers. We're going to continue to lead in technology, medical science, you name it. Our universities are getting better and better and better. I don't know where the heck they came up with this.
I don't know about that. If Gary, look, Gary, we're going to continue to lead if we continue to be free. I mean, look, China was poor for hundreds and hundreds of years. China was literally dirt poor. What has transformed China over the last number of decades is that they've started, even in a very small fashion, to become more free. And the most prosperous countries are always the most free. And, you know, it's not population, it's not the numbers, it's not natural resources. It's the freedom. That's what's always made America, literally America,
yeah,
the most
but
prosperous
Jonathan,
country in the history of the earth.
They've recently been going in the opposite direction. President Xi has said he's going to be president for life. A lot of the state-owned companies are beginning to chew up some of the private companies in there. That may be, in fact, that may have more to do with their slowdown than U.S. tariffs.
Well, David, if they do, in fact, go the other way, the more status China gets, the more of then we don't have anything to worry about. The problem is that we're going in very much the opposite direction. We're spending more, we're controlling more, we're becoming less capitalist, and that's what's really the threat. Not China, not Mexico. It's from within.
Jonathan, you're going to love this. I agree with you 100%. I do think that the China story is at a tipping point right now. To your point, David, the state-owned enterprises are absorbing, again, more of the economy. We know that that doesn't work, which is why they've tried to downgrade their state-owned enterprises. Right. Over time, no government-controlled corporation, if you will, has done as well as the free market. So I think to the extent that China, we've heard inevitability before, right? Japan was inevitably going to be the most powerful and wealthy country in the world. This is a time now when China has decisions to make. And by the way, Jonathan, I think the United States has decisions to make.
And look, let me just say, if Right Hands de Blasio gets his way, or if Bernie Sanders gets his way, we will head big time to the south end. So I do get it, and I completely agree, Jonathan. I am sick over our debt. I'm sick over our deficits. I cannot believe how big our government and government spending is right now. Over $4 trillion coming out of the economy, over $6 trillion, including local and state. Something has to be done eventually, or else they're going to overtake the economy. So I get it, my friend.
Gary, just to your point right now, so would you put the blame on the government right now for a lot of it? So we're seeing political instability across the board locally. Yes, we're talking about a period of exceptionalism within the United States, but we're focusing internally. You got this shutdown that I don't think it looks like it's going to end anytime soon. Could potentially affect GDP going forward. And then you've got the fact that you're spending so much money, to your point. So do you think that really a lot of this blame should be put on the government, Gary?
The size of government is a gigantic blob, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Next year, the first $500 billion of our precious tax dollars is going to interest, not to the poor or the elderly or to children or the roads or bridges, to interest on the debt that these people in Washington created. And if we do not change that trajectory, eventually there will be heck to pay. And unfortunately, nobody's talking about it, and they're certainly not listening.
I would also add, Gary, it's not just a question of government spending. It's also a question of governments intervening in how companies manage themselves. In New York, we have some policies being put forward about how you pay your employees, what kind of vacation time they get, et cetera. These are even affecting small businesses with 5 employees. This is beginning to really crimp the entrepreneurial ability. And I would imagine if a young person starting up a business, I would leave New York and do it elsewhere. But I think it's going to have an impact. If that kind of thinking, goes beyond the bluest of blue states like California and New York, I think we really have a problem.
And those were exactly the kind of rules and regulations that stymied entrepreneurs in Europe. That's what is hampering countries like France right now, and Germany, and even England.
It's so true, David. And look, when regulations are eliminated, when consumers and when entrepreneurs are free, you get everything from, let's say, the fracking and shale revolution when it comes to energy, or something as seemingly benign as the cannabis explosion, this whole cannabis industry that's grown up in the last just number of years. Tremendous advancements, specifically because of freedom.
Easy for you to say.